to Nick Cannon. 7 kids, four different women. He's got no shame about it. The culture has no shame about it. That's racist if you have a problem with it. You know, you've got a Eurocentric point of view. We are from someplace else, and, you know, we're supposed to just spread our seed wildly, indiscriminately, and be part-time parents. But if I were to summarize all of what we're talking about, what we're really talking about is the elimination of anything regarded as sin. Just, there is no sin. Anything that you desire, anything that you want to do is A-okay. And it's, you know, I think, and you'd like to say this all the time, and I agree, it's very clever, short of voting for Donald Trump, you can do anything and it will be justified in America. Everything that's going on in society, and particularly here in America, just feels very satanic, and anything we can do to get our kids in a bubble away from that satanic environment, we should be doing.
Well, I couldn't agree more with you, Jason. And by the way, let me just say I love your show, and I love your commentary and what you're doing here. But it depends on what your motives are. For me, for my wife, Psalm 123 was offered some guidance for me. It says, children are like arrows in the hands of a warrior. I love that. And I love it because it gives you a picture of your responsibility as parents, that we're sharpening them, we're preparing them like weapons. And one day we draw them from the quiver and we aim them at a wicked world and we send them into the world.
We're being manipulated and played, separated from our beliefs and the values given to us by our ancestors. And you can think your ancestors are back in Africa. I think my ancestors are here in America, in graves buried here in America. That's not a disrespect to Africa and any African blood that's in me. But the truth is, all I know is America. That's all my mama knows. That's all my daddy knew. That's all his mama and daddy knew. And their mama and daddy. They don't know a damn thing about Africa. I'm not saying that to disrespect Africa. But we are Americans. And there are things that have transpired here in America that have benefited us.
Swear on my man cave here, I'm going to explode, dude. Enough of one woman up against the system, one teacher speaking out at the school board. Where are the men? Where are the men? All right. And until we get the answer to that question, we are freaking doomed here. What we need are men who will stand up in their homes, in the classrooms, in their churches, that will stand up, hold up a Bible and hold up a Constitution like Nehemiah, who's got a sword in one hand and a Bible in the other. All right. A Bible in one hand and a Constitution in the other. Hold up and say, men, this is America. This is what it's about. This is what it was founded on. These two things. This is first, but this is second. Ain't a close second, but it is second. We lose these two things, we lose, period. So we got to start all over here. This is a Bible. This is a Constitution. And until we get men to do this again, we're doomed.
There really was an organization whose title was honest. And if that title was Black Lives Matter and it was an honest title, they would move to Chicago. They would set up camp in Chicago. And they would probably get, I don't know these famous athletes because I'm not a spectator sport. LeBron James. How about LeBron James goes to Chicago and gathers all these inner city kids and go, just be good. Just stop at the help wanted sign. Carry yourself with dignity. Don't hurt each other. Don't rob each other. Don't shoot each other. Don't stab each other. Let's all love each other. Do you know that LeBron James could probably save 10,000 black lives this year? But instead, he's fanning the flames of the system by which they're slaughtering each other.
Looking at black kids in the inner city hunt each other. And just think of how many lives we could save if LeBron James or any of these athletes would connect with Ted Nugent, would connect with hunters.org, and we started teaching kids hunting in the woods, in hunting things that we're supposed to hunt, eat, and kill. If we directed that masculine energy that direction, how many lives could we save? What type of cultures could we change in a more positive direction? And I'll just go back to, again, that's why I want to continue with our relationship, and let's be a voice and a symbol that, like the good old boys and the homeboys, we have common ground. Let's come together. Let's learn from each other, and let's send these young people in a better direction than what they're going now. Let's teach them how to properly focus their masculinity, and let's teach them a safe way to hunt. Steve, let's start here. Give me an approval rating. We end our shows with an approval rating. Do you approve, disapprove? How do you judge my behavior yesterday when faced with a COVID crisis?
Brother, I gotta go Commodus in the arena, gladiator style. You know I love you, brother. That's why I gotta go thumbs down. I gotta keep it real, man. All right. The show's called Fearless. I gotta go thumbs down. And here's why. Okay. We're gonna get into all kinds of data and science here. We're gonna get all sciencey here in a few minutes. But for a second, let's just talk brother to brother here spiritually. Everything I heard from you. Now, that doesn't mean you made the wrong decisions, okay? But I think in a Christian worldview, we are judged by motivations, not results.
My podcast host, Uncle Jimmy, he contracted the virus 10 days ago. He and his two sons, James and Jamil, have been isolating at home. I called Jimmy 3 or 4 times per day. Yesterday morning, he sounded relatively strong. We agreed he was doing better than the day before. Jimmy told me, I don't feel like I'm gonna die. He kind of chuckled. We hung up the phone. I stepped out of my car, walked into our studio, sat at my desk, popped open my laptop, and then my phone rang. Jimmy Dodds flashed on my cell phone screen. His oldest son's voice greeted me when I answered. Hey, Mr. Whitlock. Dad fainted and landed face first. He's laying on the floor, coughing and gagging. He wants you to come here and take him to the hospital.
He's not prepared for what they're doing to her, okay? And so I used to be against her in a way because I thought she was arrogant, but I realize now this isn't really even her fault. She's being manipulated. She's a strong young woman, and she needs to stand up to these people. She needs to learn who her enemies really are.
Greg, I'm going to tell you, this sounds a lot like a couple of weeks ago, I was driving home, and the gravitational pull of my car took me through a McDonald's drive-thru. I don't know if it was my GPS or whatever, but it just pulled me through a McDonald's drive-thru, and I got to the window, and the guy at the drive-thru window asked me a very tough question. Did you want extra tartar sauce on your double filet of fish sandwich? And I nearly broke down in tears and was, well, I mean, that's a really tough question. Of course I want extra tartar sauce on my double filet of fish sandwich. And please keep the extra cheese coming as well.
The people who came before us sacrificed a lot for us. And I get frustrated when I see us complaining a lot about how much they should have given us and didn't, or what somebody did 250 years ago, instead of us talking about what we are willing to sacrifice for the next generation. And for me, this goes to your point, Jason. I definitely appreciate you extending an opportunity for me to come on the show. And one of the things that I'm willing to sacrifice is my personal reputation. I'm willing to be called all of the ugly names that people call, quote unquote, black conservatives, if it means that my daughter can grow up in a world where the people who represent her don't high five the guys that make a living disrespecting her. I'm willing to take that heat. I'm willing to be called a coon and a Tom and a sellout if it means that it opens up some space for people like us to talk about the importance of marriage and family in the Black community.
Surely to God, I must be number 11, and they just cut you off at number 10. But I mean, is there no one you actually work with or any of your peers that you've actually looked at their work and was like, oh man, I'd like to do some of that?
I mean, I just explained about your ability to climb to the big picture, and I'll say another name that probably could have been on the list is Jay Mariotti, just because he would stand fearlessly to the face of big-time, powerful people.
I think our connection just went bad, Greg. I think you just connected me in some way to Jay Mariotti.
Right after you.
And you just undermined all your credit. Anything you said positively about me has now just been undermined because you just referenced Jay Mariotti as a writing influence. Greg, I'm going to let you go and let you hop on the phone with Jay Mariotti and talk about this, because clearly you and I have nothing in common.